Well, I mean, he said a lot of ignorant things so far. First of all, he's not funny. I mean, I don't know what he ceased to be funny a long time ago, I think, or smart for that matter. He's peddling old AIPAC talking points. I mean, not even new clever stuff, but old stuff. I mean, he talks about the Palestinian rejected. That's an old AIPAC kind of a thing. In 1947, it's of course a lot of BS. It's nonsense. Yeah, they say that they attack them again and again and again and all that stuff, and they. That is not, of course, true. He's an Islamophobe also. I mean, it's obvious. He's saying there's no Crusader army going in to free Bethlehem and all these things. It is, what happened in Bethlehem is, it is true. Sadly, it has lost a lot of its Christian population, and Bethlehem is very close to my village up at east. Just so far. So yes, because a lot of families from Bethlehem immigrated, seeking a better life. They did so under the Ottomans, as he mentioned. Under the Ottomans, a lot of them escaped the conscription during World War I and so on. There are reasons that this happened, but of course, it is very bad because I think we Palestinians lose when Christians leave. When there are less Christians or less Jews, it's not good for the whole society. It's not good. But of course, he says it because he has an agenda. This is something that is given to him. I don't think he really understands history or the dynamics. I mean, he talks about Algeria, for instance. He mentioned Algeria, that, a million French Algerians, but those were colonial settlers. They were colonial settlers that did not want to stay and live under an Algerian government, a majority government. So he talks about. Look, I mean, I don't want to really spend a lot of time on Bill Maher. He's ignorant and he's not. He can believe whatever he wants to. He can say whatever he wants to make his show popular. But these are all wrong. He's using cliches basically. Silly cliches.
Yeah.
And suggested in a way to shape American policy and so on. So, I mean, that's really all I care to say. I mean, he says humans are not good people. Right. Humans are not good people. I mean, I don't even know what that means. Humans are not good people.
Yeah, he's trying to hide.
So he's trying to say that Israel is justified in doing what it's doing because humans are not good people. I mean, if you juxtapose that against what they said that human animals, the guy that said human animals, then actually it fits quite. Sort of, it's a subtle suggestion, but it's there. So, I mean, that's really all I have to say about.
Well, it's also it's unfortunate for him that we have now Netanyahu admitting that that this cliche about the Arabs always walking away from peace deals,
right?
And now you have Netanyahu admitting that's not the case, and Mark Regev, the ambassador, not only admitting that he doesn't want a two-state solution now.
They be prohibited from having, but my question would be, why should they be prohibited from having exactly the same rights as a state to Israel? Wouldn't that be ultimately the way you actually achieve peace?
On the contrary, if this is going to work, it has to be based on realism.
But admitting that even Rabin wasn't offering a two-state solution.
Rabin, the prime minister of Israel, who wanted to make peace with the Palestinians, who's was the prime minister at the time of the signing of the Oslo Accords, he gave a speech and he was very clear. He said that the Palestinians will have less than a state. Yitzhak Rabin said, the man who was shot for his efforts to move forward on the peace process.
That is true. I mean, that's what Regev said, and that's, debunks, if you want, the Americans insisted that it was the Palestinians or Arafat that sabotaged whatever during Camp David. This was not the case. I think to his credit, Clinton came afterwards and said that.
Yeah, he did admit that.
He did admit that, and he said, and in fact, Barack admitted that. But to continue this kind of narrative is really, it's a disservice to him, because that is not someone who's knowledgeable of what really happened or knows what's going on now. Because if you want to be effective, you got to start with the facts. He's not
Right.
starting with the facts. It's not even clever optics. I mean, he just put a map out there that shows the West Bank but doesn't show Gaza. For
Right.
instance, it's all green, right? He shows it. Of course, he did not talk about the settlement that are sprinkled all across the West Bank. He says that Arafat was given 95%, which is not true. He talks about East Jerusalem was given to them, which was not true. That's the one thing they disagreed on, still disagree on, and all these things. He's completely out of touch with reality. But they don't care. I mean, this is the kind of message that the pro-Israel lobby always does. I mean, they want to tell the story. It's all about Israel, Israel, Israel. Everything else, leave the humanity out of it. Leave the humanitarian, the Palestinians as the human dimension of the Palestinians out of it. I mean, the stuff that he also showed that the wars, for instance, one war or another. The Palestinians have not gone to war with Israel. This is, Israel has gone to war against the Palestinians, but the Palestinians never had an army. I mean, an argument that I had, or not, a discussion that I had with Miller was, because he said that Hamas should surrender. And I said, but Hamas is not an army.
Right.
How would they surrender? You expect that every fighter to come out and lay down their guns and so on. They don't even have any idea on how this is to be done. And I have a message for him. He said the Israelis are not going anywhere. Nobody wants them going anywhere. But the Palestinians are not going anywhere either. I mean, they are between the river and the sea. There are as many Palestinians as there are Jews. So they have. We agree. I think that ought to be a place where everybody can live in freedom and democracy and have the same kind of rights. Not someone has special rights and others have no right. Again, let me just emphasize: he did not know, or he, on purpose being ignorant, or on purpose sort of dismissing history. The Palestinians are not going anywhere. Nobody's driving the Jews out. It's actually Israel that is driving the Palestinians out.
Right.
So he needs to sort of brush up on his recent history.
Said, any last words that you want to share? Because you've been so generous with your time and you're so knowledgeable about so many things.
Well, thank you for having me. I look forward to being on with you again.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope that everybody works to, so we can have a ceasefire. That's the first priority, because that's the only way to really stop killing the Palestinians. So, to stop the death and the destruction. First things first. Let's have a ceasefire.
Thank you. Agree. Amen. Thank you so much, Said. And definitely, we would love to have you back.